God said, before the 18th of October, 4 things will happen that will shake the very ground you walk upon. 4 divine moves that will open the heavens over your life and prove that no human delay, no demonic opposition, no earthly circumstance can stand against the plan of the Almighty. I speak to someone today who has been praying, crying, waiting, and wondering when your season will shift. Hear this with the deepest part of your spirit. Your waiting has reached its expiration date. The heavens have marked your name. God has written a decree concerning you. And before the 18th of October, the evidence of His power will manifest in your life. Do not take this as ordinary speech. This is not a message of motivation. This is a divine announcement. God said, the winds of change are gathering. The spiritual atmosphere is moving. What you could not do for years, what seemed impossible in your own strength, God will do suddenly. For when God speaks, time bends to His will. When God decrees, creation obeys. When God moves, even your enemies must witness your rise. Many of you have been through silent seasons. You prayed and heaven seemed still. You knocked and no door opened. You fasted and the breakthrough did not come. But I tell you now, by divine revelation, that silence was not absence. It was preparation. God was not ignoring you. He was positioning you. He was arranging the unseen, working behind the curtain of your frustration. You thought nothing was happening, but God was aligning people, opportunities, and timing to converge perfectly before October 18. And now, the Spirit of God is saying 4 things are about to unfold. 4 movements of divine orchestration that will mark a turning point in your destiny. The first thing that will happen before October 18 is divine reversal. God said, I am reversing the verdict. Every negative word spoken against you, every closed door, every plan that was meant to bury your potential, I am overturning it. Where you were disqualified, I am qualifying you. Where you were rejected, I am granting you favor. Where you were delayed, I am accelerating you. You see, God does not need permission from anyone to promote you. He does not consult your background to determine your future. He simply says, let there be. And suddenly there is. You thought you were behind. You looked at others and felt forgotten. But the Spirit of God says, I have hidden you for a reason. Hidden, not forsaken. Concealed, not rejected. God was preparing you in the dark so that when He brings you into the light, no man will be able to take credit. You will know that it was God and God alone. The same people who pitied you will witness your elevation. The same ground that saw your tears will witness your triumph. But listen, divine reversal does not come without divine alignment. Before God reverses your situation, He will reverse your mindset. He will remove fear, doubt, and bitterness from your heart. You cannot receive new wine with an old wineskin. God is purging your heart so you can carry what is coming. Some of you have been stripped of things, people, and plans. Not because God was punishing you, but because He was purifying you. Rejoice, for your loss was not the end. It was the preparation for restoration. The second thing God said will happen before October 18 is divine revelation. God is about to show you what you could not see. There is a level of clarity and direction coming that will end confusion. Some of you have been standing at a crossroads, uncertain of what to do next. You prayed for signs, for confirmation, for direction. And God says, I am about to reveal it. The veil will lift. The confusion will end. You will know exactly what to do. This revelation will not come through noise. It will come through stillness. In the quiet of your prayer, in the solitude of your heart, God will whisper strategies that will shift everything. You will suddenly understand why certain doors closed. You will realize why you had to wait. God will connect the dots and turn your pain into purpose. Revelation is not information. It is illumination. It opens your eyes to see how close your miracle really is. When God reveals, He restores your confidence. Many of you have doubted whether you still hear from God, whether He still speaks to you. But He has not been silent. He has been strategic. You were not waiting for Him to speak. You were waiting to be still enough to listen. Now that your spirit is ready, revelation will come like a flood. You will see dreams, receive instructions, encounter divine insight that will place you exactly where you need to be. The third thing God said will happen before October 18 is divine reward. The reward for faithfulness, the reward for endurance, the reward for trusting when everything looked impossible. God has seen the nights you cried, the days you labored, the hours you kept believing even when no one understood. Every tear, every prayer, every act of obedience, it was not wasted. Heaven recorded it all. Now God says, I am sending compensation. Not just spiritual reward, but tangible, visible evidence of my favor. The kind of blessing that cannot be hidden. The kind of increase that silences mockers. For too long, the righteous have sown without seeing the harvest. But God said, this is the time of manifestation. Your faith has matured. Your character has been refined. And now your season of reward has arrived. When God rewards, He does not do it halfway. He restores what was lost, multiplies what was little, and magnifies what was hidden. You will see breakthroughs in your finances, in your relationships, in your health, in your peace of mind. But hear me clearly. This reward is not just about comfort. It is about confirmation. God is confirming that your obedience was not in vain. He is proving that those who trust in Him will never be put to shame. And the fourth thing God said will happen before October 18 is divine restoration. You are about to recover what was stolen. The time, the joy, the opportunities, the strength, the confidence, you will recover all. You will look around and say, how did all this happen so quickly? And the answer will be God. For when restoration comes from God, it does not come in fragments, it comes in fullness. Some of you have been through years of battle, attacks, betrayals, disappointments, and you wondered if you would ever feel whole again. But hear this, God never allows pain without purpose. The storm was not sent to destroy you. It was sent to reveal what could not be broken. You have endured, you have believed, and now restoration will come. You will rise stronger than before. You will walk with confidence, not because of who you are, but because of what God has done in you. Before October 18, you will see these four movements of God: reversal, revelation, reward, and restoration. but you must prepare your heart to receive them. God's promises are not automatic, they require alignment. You must posture yourself in faith. Doubt cannot enter the atmosphere of miracles. Fear cannot stand where faith is alive. God is not moved by complaints, He is moved by conviction. If you believe He can, then act like He already has. Speak it, declare it, live as though it is already unfolding. You see, faith is not passive waiting, it is active expectation. It is the boldness to believe that what God said will happen, must happen, and cannot be stopped. Even now, in the unseen, God is orchestrating your turnaround. He is speaking your name in rooms you have never entered. He is stirring the hearts of people who will help you without knowing why. He is redirecting resources to meet your need at the exact moment you need them. Do not be deceived by what you see right now. The visible world is only a reflection of the invisible. God moves first in the unseen realm, and then it manifests in the natural. When you pray, when you believe, when you stay faithful, you are building momentum in the invisible. And when the time is full, it bursts forth into reality. That's why the enemy has been attacking you harder lately, because he knows your manifestation is near. God said before October 18, I will make it clear that I am with you. There will be signs that only you can understand, personal confirmations that no one else will grasp, but you will know deep in your spirit that it was God. You will feel divine timing aligning. You will see opportunities arise suddenly. You will witness people returning with apologies. You will feel peace replacing anxiety. God is saying, do not be afraid of sudden change. For many, the shift will come swiftly and you will feel unprepared. But understand this, when God accelerates you, He equips you. What would normally take years will happen in days. What once seemed distant will arrive without warning. The delay has built capacity in you. Now the blessing will fill that capacity. And yes, the enemy will try to distract you. As you draw closer to your breakthrough, the noise will increase. You may face misunderstandings, sudden discouragement, or unexpected challenges. But remember, distraction is the enemy's last weapon before defeat. When God is about to move, the enemy tries to cloud your focus. Do not engage with negativity. Do not waste your words defending what God is already validating. Stay still. Stay silent. Stay believing. This is not the time to retreat. It is the time to stand firm. God is not asking you to fight this battle. He is asking you to believe that it is already won. The greatest act of faith is rest, not laziness, but spiritual confidence. It is the stillness that says, I know God is working. Before October 18, God will make your faith visible. Those who doubted your calling will witness your confirmation. Those who mocked your patience will see your promotion. And to those who say, I don't see any sign yet, hear this. The darkest hour comes right before the dawn. When it looks like nothing is moving, that's when God is working the most. Do not measure divine timing by human calendars. God's word does not conform to earthly deadlines. It fulfills them. You may be wondering, why October 18? Because God has chosen a time to mark your transformation. Not because that date is magical, but because it symbolizes divine timing. It is a reminder that your life is not random, it is scheduled. Heaven runs on purpose, not on coincidence. When God sets a time, nothing can delay it. So now, prepare yourself. Clean your heart of offense. Let go of bitterness. Release the people who hurt you. Detach from anything that steals your peace. For the glory that is coming cannot dwell in a polluted vessel. God is about to entrust you with something sacred, something powerful, something lasting. But He will only pour into a clean cup. Speak what you want to see. Declare over your life. Before October 18, divine reversal is happening. Before October 18, revelation is coming. Before October 18, reward is being released. Before October 18, restoration is manifesting. Speak it with boldness. For when you declare God's word with faith, you activate the unseen. Words are spiritual forces. They create, they summon, they shift reality. God is looking for those who will believe beyond logic. Those who will trust when there is no evidence. Those who will say, even if nothing looks different, I still know God is moving. That kind of faith pleases Him. That kind of faith moves mountains. That kind of faith attracts miracles. So, rise up in your spirit. This is not the time to doubt. This is the time to declare. God has spoken, and what He has spoken will stand. You are stepping into divine timing. The next few days will not be ordinary. They will be supernatural. God is releasing answers, healing, provision, reconciliation, and open doors. You will stand in awe and say, truly, God has done this. Your story will change suddenly. Your environment will shift unexpectedly. The heaviness that once surrounded you will lift. The peace that surpasses understanding will fill your home. The same mouth that cried will soon laugh. The same hands that were empty will overflow. The same heart that was weary will dance again. Because when God speaks, reality obeys. And He has spoken concerning you. Before October 18, 4 things will happen: reversal, revelation, reward, and restoration. Believe it, declare it, prepare for it, and watch it unfold. When God decrees a thing, it does not matter who doubts it, who mocks it, or who walks away. His word will always rise above resistance. You see, when God speaks, the universe rearranges itself to fulfill His purpose. Nothing happens outside His timing, and nothing can stop what He has already ordained. Before October 18, you will witness this truth unfold in your own life. God is not merely promising you comfort. He is proving His supremacy. He is showing you that no situation is too dark, no enemy too strong, and no delay too long for His hand to reach in and turn it all around. Some of you are standing in the middle of impossible circumstances. You look at your life and say, I have no idea how things will change. But remember this, impossibility is the stage upon which God performs His greatest works. When all your resources dry up, when all your strength fades, when all your human plans collapse, God steps in. That is the very moment He reveals His power. God loves to display His glory through the unlikely, through the overlikely, through the broken vessels that still dare to believe. You may have been reduced to nothing, but in that nothingness, you are about to witness God create something magnificent. Before October 18, the first great movement, divine reversal, will reach into the very areas that seemed finished. That relationship you thought was over that career that looked ruined, that dream that felt buried. Watch how God breathed His life into it again. The same breath that brought the universe into existence is breathing on your situation right now. You will begin to sense that things are shifting, not by human effort, but by divine power. People who once ignored you will begin to remember you. Opportunities that were lost will resurface. God will cause the same system that rejected you to call your name again. Do not underestimate what a single act of God can do. Years of pain can be erased in a moment of divine reversal. A lifetime of struggle can be replaced by one day of divine favor. God is not bound by the pace of the world. When He says, now, everything that was once impossible suddenly becomes possible. So keep your heart positioned in expectancy. Expect God to move. Expect the phone call that changes everything. Expect the news that shifts your path. Expect the restoration that no one thought would happen. But remember, God reverses not just your situation, but also your perception. He will teach you to see differently. For as long as your vision is clouded by fear, you cannot recognize the miracle even when it stands before you. God must renew your mind so that when He opens the door, you can walk through it boldly. You are not meant to crawl into your blessing. You are meant to step into it with confidence. That confidence is not arrogance. It is faith. It is the inner knowing that what God has spoken cannot fail. The second divine movement, revelation, will open your inner eyes. God is about to reveal the deeper meaning behind everything you have gone through. You will understand why certain people had to leave. You will realize why certain prayers were not answered the way you expected. You will see that what looked like rejection was actually redirection. Every disappointment was divine protection. God was saving you from lesser things to position you for greater things. Some of you have been asking God for clarity, and He will give it to you, but not through noise. It will come through stillness. When you quiet the distractions, when you detach from fear, when you surrender your timeline, revelation flows. God will whisper in ways that only your spirit can hear. You will receive sudden insight, divine ideas, and supernatural understanding. You will see your life from a higher dimension, and you will no longer panic over what you don't understand, because revelation brings rest. It brings peace. When you know what God is doing, you no longer chase things that were never meant for you. Revelation is a gift that separates the anxious from the anchored. Those who walk in revelation cannot be shaken by appearances. They know that even when nothing seems to move, God is still working behind the scenes. They know that delays are not denials, but divine detours. When revelation fills your heart, you stop questioning God and start trusting Him completely. Now, hear this. The third divine movement, reward, is approaching faster than you think. The season of secret sowing is over. You have labored in faith, loved without return, given without applause, served without recognition. And God has seen it all. Nothing you did in faith went unnoticed. The world may have forgotten, but heaven remembers. Every good deed, every selfless act, every prayer offered in the dark, God is now bringing it back with interest. Your reward will come in unexpected forms. Some of you will receive opportunities that you did not even apply for. Some will find healing where doctors said it was impossible. Some will experience peace where there was once constant turmoil. God's reward is not only in what He gives, but also in what He removes. Sometimes His greatest reward is taking away the thing that was slowly destroying your spirit. He will strip away the counterfeit to make room for the authentic. He will remove burdens you didn't realize you were carrying. He will release you from toxic attachments that kept your soul chained. You will soon understand that God's reward is always perfect. It arrives at the moment when your heart can handle it. It comes in a measure that will not destroy you but develop you. When God rewards, He doesn't just give you blessings, He makes you a blessing. You will become a channel through which His abundance flows to others. Your testimony will become someone else's hope. And then comes the fourth divine movement. Restoration. God will not merely return what you lost, He will multiply it. Restoration is not replacement, it is elevation. God will take what was broken and make it beautiful. He will turn the fragments of your past into the foundation of your future. You will no longer live in the shadow of yesterday's pain. You will rise whole and radiant, carrying the fragrance of divine grace. Some of you lost years to confusion, to wrong decisions, to betrayals, to fear. But God says, I am restoring your years. The time that seemed wasted will now work in your favor. Every setback is being converted into a setup for glory. You thought the chapter was over, but God is reopening the book. The pen is still in His hand, and the story is far from finished. Restoration means peace where there was once pain. It means laughter where there were once tears. It means divine compensation, double for every trouble, beauty for every ashes, joy for every mourning. God is not unjust to forget what you endured. He is faithful to complete what He began in you. And before October 18, you will see His faithfulness like never before. But as God moves, you must also move in obedience. Every divine promise carries a divine instruction. When God is about to elevate you, He will test your readiness. He will whisper, let go of this, or forgive that person, or step out in faith. And your obedience in that moment will determine how swiftly the miracle unfolds. God's blessings are attracted to obedient hearts. Obedience opens what effort cannot. Do not ignore the small promptings in your spirit during these days. Those quiet urgings are not random thoughts, they are divine signals. Follow them. If God tells you to release bitterness, release it. If He tells you to take a step, take it. If He tells you to speak faith instead of fear, do it. Every act of obedience is a seed, and every seed will produce a harvest. The enemy will try to whisper lies in this season. He will tell you that nothing is changing, that these words are just another promise that you are foolish to believe. Do not entertain that voice. Lies lose their power when you refuse to listen. The more you focus on what God has said, the quieter the enemy becomes. Let your faith make more noise than your fear. And as you prepare for what is coming, keep your atmosphere clean. Speak life, not death. Surround yourself with people who build your faith, not those who drain it. Create an environment where God's presence is welcomed Your home should echo with words of belief, not doubt. Your heart should overflow with gratitude, not complaint. Gratitude magnifies what God is doing. It draws the miraculous closer. Before October 18, wake each morning with expectation. Say to yourself, today could be the day. Because it could be. God loves to surprise His faithful ones. He loves to turn ordinary days into holy encounters. You could wake up one morning and find that everything has changed. You could receive that message, that opportunity, that healing, that reconciliation, and in an instant, everything will make sense. God's timing is precise. He does not rush, and He does not delay. He is not late, He is deliberate. When He moves, it will feel sudden to you, but has been prepared from eternity. He has already gone ahead of you to arrange every detail. The people you will meet, the doors that will open, the resources that will appear, all are being positioned right now. You are not waiting for God to remember you. He is waiting for you to recognize that He already has. Every moment between now and October 18 is sacred. These are not ordinary days. They are days of divine preparation. God is aligning your spirit with His will so that when the promise appears, you can carry it with strength and humility. So lift your head. Do not let fear dominate your heart. You are not forgotten. You are chosen. You are not behind. You are in process. You are not at the end. You are on the verge. And when the manifestation comes, you will know that it was never by your own effort, but by the mighty hand of God. You will look back at this moment and say, that was the turning point. That was when everything shifted. That was when God spoke and the earth obeyed. And you will remember that before October 18, the impossible became possible. The unseen became visible, and the promises of God became your reality. Hold this truth with unshakable faith. When God says it, it will happen. Not by your might, not by your plans, not by your strength, but by His divine will. The four things He promised, reversal, revelation, reward, and restoration, are already in motion. The clouds are gathering, the wind of change is blowing, and the heavens are preparing to release what has been stored for you. So stand firm, believe deeply, walk boldly. For God has spoken, and His word cannot return empty. Before the appointed day arrives, you will stand as living proof that when God declares, creation must respond. And everything that once stood against, you will soon testify on your behalf that truly the hand of God has moved mightily in your life. When God sets a divine time, everything in the universe begins to align with it. The movement of people, the opening of doors, the timing of opportunities, all of it bends to the schedule of His will. You may not see it with your physical eyes, but the invisible realm is already shifting in your favor. The winds of destiny are blowing, and they are carrying your name. God has not forgotten you. Every prayer you whispered in secret, every tear that fell in silence, every sigh of your weary heart has been gathered before Him. And now, in this appointed season, He is about to act. Before October 18, His invisible hand will be made visible in your life. There is a sacred truth that many forget. God is never inactive. Even when you feel nothing, even when all seems quiet, God is still orchestrating the outcome. Silence does not mean absence. It means preparation. God works in hidden places because what He is building in you must first take root in the unseen. Just as a seed must remain buried before it can sprout, you too were hidden so that you could grow in strength, wisdom, and endurance. Do not despise the hidden years. They were never wasted. Every unseen effort was a foundation for the season you are about to enter. When God decides to reveal what He has prepared, He does it suddenly. The sudden move of God is both shocking and undeniable. One moment you are in the waiting room, the next you are standing in manifestation. One day everything feels uncertain, and the next you are walking in fulfillment. The world calls it coincidence, but those who walk with God know it as divine timing. What takes others a lifetime, God can release in a single moment. He does not need permission. He needs faith. He does not wait for the right environment. He creates it. And when God decides to elevate you, He will use circumstances you never expected. Sometimes He hides blessings inside problems. Sometimes He disguises breakthroughs inside burdens. You may think something is falling apart, but in truth, it is falling into place. What you call chaos, God calls construction. Every challenge, every delay, every disappointment was shaping you into someone who could carry greater weight. You see, God will not give you what you cannot sustain. That is why He stretched you. That is why He tested you. That is why He allowed pressure to come, because pressure produces power. There is no elevation without endurance. There is no crown without conflict. The very thing that tested your patience was preparing your position. And now that you have endured, the season of manifestation must follow. Before October 18, you will see that everything you went through had divine purpose. What you thought was breaking you was actually building you. What you thought was punishment was actually preparation. God said, I am about to release something so powerful that even the smallest act of obedience will unlock tremendous favor. You will begin to see divine patterns. Moments where your actions, your words, your timing will align so perfectly that it could only be the hand of God. You will meet the right person at the right time. You will hear the right instruction at the right moment. You will step into opportunities that were designed for you before you even knew they existed. But to walk in this season, your heart must remain pure. You cannot carry pride into a season of power. You cannot hold resentment while expecting restoration. God will not pour fresh water into a polluted vessel. Cleanse your heart daily. Forgive quickly. Release what does not serve your peace. For the blessings that are coming require a clear channel, a heart that flows freely with faith and gratitude. Many people delay their blessings not because God has withheld them, but because their hearts are too crowded with offense. They cannot receive new beginnings while clinging to old pain. You must let go, not for them, but for yourself. The moment you release, you make room for what God has already prepared. Do not let bitterness block your breakthrough. Do not let fear silence your faith. Do not let the past define the future God is calling you into. In this sacred season, your words carry tremendous power. What you speak will shape what you see. If your language is filled with defeat, you will live in defeat. But if your language is filled with faith, you will live in victory. Speak as if the miracle is already here. Declare what God has promised. Say to yourself, this is the season where everything changes. This is the time where God's hand will move mightily in my life. Before October 18, my situation will not look the same. Every time you speak with faith, you are building a spiritual structure that attracts divine manifestation. Heaven responds to faith-filled declarations. The angels move at the command of belief. When you speak doubt, you tie your own hands. But when you speak faith, you unleash divine power. So speak boldly, speak consistently, speak in alignment with what God has already decreed. Some of you have been asking, when will it happen? How will it happen? But God's ways are not like human ways. He does not reveal the full plan because faith requires trust, not sight. If you saw every detail, you would not need to depend on Him. So instead, He gives you enough light for the next step. You walk by faith, not by full understanding. Each step of obedience reveals the next. That is how God trains your spirit to rely fully on Him. Do not fear uncertainty, embrace it. It is in the unknown that you will see the greatest revelations. It is in the darkness that God's light shines brightest. Many are afraid of what they cannot control, but the one who trusts in God knows that surrender is the highest form of strength. You are not called to control outcomes. You are called to trust the one who controls all things. When you release your need to understand everything, you create space for miracles to flow. And hear me clearly, when God begins to move, it may not look comfortable. Divine change often disrupts comfort zones. The shaking you feel is not destruction. It is repositioning. God shakes what is unstable so He can establish what is eternal. You may lose some people, you may lose certain habits, you may even lose some plans, but whatever God removes, He replaces with something far greater. His pruning is never punishment. It is preparation for greater fruitfulness. Before October 18, God will also test your focus. The closer you get to breakthrough, the louder the distractions become. Do not lose focus. The enemy cannot stop what God has ordained, so he will try to steal your attention. He will tempt you to argue, to worry, to chase things that do not matter. But this is the time to protect your focus with everything you have. The blessing belongs to those who refuse to look away from what God has said. Keep your eyes on the promise, not the problem. Some people around you will not understand the season you are in. They will question your faith, your decisions, your silence. Let them. You are not here to explain yourself. You are here to obey God. The validation of people cannot compare to the confirmation of God. When the promise manifests, even your critics will be silent. Let your results speak for you. Remember, this faith is not pretending everything is perfect. It is knowing that even in imperfection, God is still in control. You can be surrounded by storms and still have peace because your confidence is in the one who commands the wind. You can be standing in the middle of uncertainty and still smile because you know that God's word cannot fail. So do not fear what lies ahead. God is already there. He has walked through every moment before you ever lived it. He knows your next step, your next breakthrough, your next miracle. All He asks is that you trust Him deeply and obey quickly. When He speaks, move. When He instructs, respond. Delayed obedience is still disobedience. And in this season, timing is everything. When the window of divine opportunity opens, step through it boldly. For some, the miracle will come quietly, a gentle shift that you only recognize when you look back. For others, it will be sudden, dramatic, undeniable. But for all who believe it will come, God's word cannot return void. It cannot be cancelled by circumstance. It cannot be undone by opposition. What He has spoken concerning you must manifest. So lift your hands in faith. Lift your heart in gratitude. Speak to your soul and say, my season is changing. My breakthrough is here. God has declared it, and I believe it. Because belief is the key that unlocks the impossible. Belief transforms prayers into reality. Belief turns delay into acceleration. Before October 18, you will know that the wait was worth it. You will stand in awe of how precisely God planned every detail. You will realize that every tear watered the soil of your miracle. And when you see it, when it finally unfolds, you will not boast in yourself, you will bow in reverence, knowing that it was only by God's mercy, wisdom, and timing that everything came together. And as you step into this season, remember, God is not only blessing you for your sake, He is blessing you as a witness to others. Your life will become a living testimony. Your victory will awaken faith in those who had lost hope. Your story will be the proof that God still moves, still speaks, still answers. You will become the evidence that faith in God never fails. So prepare yourself. These are not ordinary days. The heavens are heavy with promise, and the earth is about to respond. Stay alert, stay pure, stay believing. For before October 18, God will show Himself strong in your life. And when He does, the world will see that no word from God ever falls to the ground. And now, as this message reaches its final breath, hear this not as an ending, but as a divine awakening. Before the 18th of October, God has decreed movements in the unseen that will shake the ordinary out of your life. The clock of heaven is ticking towards something destined. You are not standing in a random season. You are standing in the threshold of transformation. What you choose to believe in these next days will determine what doors open, what chains break, and what blessings flow. God is not looking for spectators. He is searching for those who dare to trust Him when their eyes cannot yet see. You must decide, will you live as a doubter or as one who believes in the power of the unseen? Will you speak words of fear or words of faith? The power of life and death is not in what others say about you. It is in what you declare through your faith in God. When you speak faith, heaven moves. When you trust beyond your understanding, God acts beyond your imagination. The very moment you begin to believe, the atmosphere around you starts to shift. Invisible walls crumble. Delays begin to dissolve. What once seemed impossible begins to realign itself according to the Word of God. So rise up now, not as a victim of your past, but as a vessel of divine promise. There is still time. There is still power. There is still purpose. Before the 18th of October, God will set things in motion that no man can stop. But you must stand firm. Do not retreat when the battle intensifies. Many lose their miracle, not because God was silent, but because they surrendered too early. When you feel the pressure rising, it is not a sign of defeat. It is the final push before the breakthrough. The night always grows darkest before dawn, but it is in that darkness that faith becomes light. Lift your eyes. Stop focusing on what went wrong and start expecting what God is about to make right. Speak to your storm and remind it that God still reigns. Tell your fear that it has no authority where faith has been planted. Tell your pain that its time is over. The days ahead will require courage, but within you lies the strength of the Almighty. You are not weak. You are not forgotten. You are not left behind. You are chosen for this season, called for this hour, and positioned for this promise. God is preparing to turn your tears into testimony. Every sleepless night is being gathered like seeds that will soon burst into joy. Every unanswered question will soon find its purpose. Every door that shut was not rejection. It was redirection. The hand of God has been steering you through detours, not to delay you, but to deliver you into alignment. The path may have felt unclear, but now the reason is about to reveal itself. Before the 18th of October, watch how God rearranges the very landscape of your life to make room for His promise. But hear this clearly. God's promise is not passive. It moves toward those who move toward Him. If you want to see these 4 divine shifts take place, cleanse your heart from doubt. Forgive those who wronged you. Release bitterness, fear, and pride. For a pure heart is the altar upon which God releases His favor. When your heart is aligned, miracles no longer need to be chased. They begin to chase you. Blessings begin to follow you because God walks before you. There is something sacred about obedience in this season. When you obey the whisper of God, even when it makes no sense, you open the gates of divine acceleration. Some of you will receive what should have taken years within days. Some of you will walk into opportunities you never applied for. Some of you will be healed not by medicine, but by faith. Some of you will receive clarity that will end years of confusion. This is not chance. It is the design of God. But you must believe. Even when the world mocks your faith, even when logic questions your hope, even when the night grows heavy, believe. Because God never fails those who trust Him. He has never abandoned those who lift their eyes to Him. You will look back and realize that every valley was a setup for elevation. Every trial was a preparation for glory. And every delay was divine timing in disguise. So go forth now with a fire in your spirit. Let your faith speak louder than your fears. Let your prayers become declarations. Let your waiting become worship. And let your steps become testimony. The power of God is not coming. It is already here. The wind of change is not distant. It is blowing right now. The promise is not delayed. It is approaching with divine precision. Before the 18th of October, you will see what God has spoken. You will witness doors open that were sealed by human hands. You will stand in awe as what you thought was lost comes running back multiplied. You will walk into spaces that once seemed unreachable, and you will know this is not coincidence, this is God. Do not waste this moment. Guard your faith like treasure. Speak what you desire to see. Walk as if it is already done. Trust as if it cannot fail. God is watching for those who dare to believe in His promise. Let that be you. So now, stand firm, lift your head, and walk into your divine timing. You were not born to live in fear. You were created to manifest the power of faith. You were not meant to merely survive. You were destined to thrive under the mighty hand of God. The days ahead are not to be feared, but to be expected with holy anticipation. The heavens are preparing to respond. The earth is aligning to your faith. And God Himself is saying, before the 18th of October, these 4 things will happen. Believe it, receive it, and prepare your heart for the flood of divine movement. Because when God speaks, reality shifts. When God declares, creation obeys. And when God promises, nothing and no one can stop what is coming. Listen to me closely, because what I am about to say will shake something deep within your spirit. You may have been searching, waiting, or wondering when that one person, the one your heart has longed for, will finally enter your life. You may have looked around and thought, where is the one meant for me? But hear this truth clearly. God never forgets who belongs to you. The timing of your connection is written in the very fabric of your destiny. Before you ever met them, before you even prayed for them, God had already decided the hour, the place, and the way your paths will cross. When God introduces you to your soulmate, it will not be through chaos, confusion, or desperation. It will not come through chasing, pleading, or pretending. It will come through alignment. God never brings the right person into a life that is out of order. He brings them when your heart, your faith, and your purpose are positioned where He wants them to be. Sometimes you must walk through seasons of silence before that divine introduction takes place. Because God wants to make sure that when He brings them, you will recognize them not by their beauty, not by their charm, but by the peace your spirit feels in their presence. Many people rush to find love. They move ahead of God's timing. They become impatient and attach themselves to people who were never meant to walk the journey with them. But God does not work through impatience. He works through preparation. When you are waiting, you are not wasting time. You are being refined. Every delay is divine training. God uses solitude to mature your emotions, strengthen your wisdom, and sharpen your discernment. You cannot receive a soulmate while you are still confused about who you are. God reveals your identity first, so that when your soulmate arrives, you will not mistake companionship for completion. You are already whole in God, and your soulmate will complement that wholeness, not complete it. When God begins to prepare 2 people for divine connection, He starts in secret. He works behind the scenes, often through separation and silence. He removes distractions, wrong influences, and counterfeit attachments that could distort your focus. He will even close doors you wanted to keep open because He knows they would interfere with the introduction He has planned. Sometimes you think God is taking someone away, but He is actually making room for the one who truly belongs. That is why many divine introductions happen after heartbreak, after disappointment, after a period of emotional stillness. Because it is in that silence that your heart becomes sensitive to the whisper of God. It is there you begin to understand what real love feels like. It is peace, not anxiety, certainty, not confusion, consistency, not games. When God introduces you to your soulmate, it often happens unexpectedly. You will not need to force it or manipulate it. It will feel as if the universe suddenly aligned. But in truth, it is God orchestrating every detail. You will notice signs, divine patterns that confirm this connection is not ordinary. You will meet them at a time when you are focused on your purpose, not chasing affection. That is how God works. He doesn't send your soulmate when you are desperate for attention. He sends them when you are devoted to your calling. Because your soulmate is not a distraction from your purpose. They are an extension of it. They will not pull you away from God's will. They will push you deeper into it. Understand this. God introduces your soulmate when you are spiritually ready to handle them. Love is not a reward for loneliness. It is a responsibility for maturity. You cannot carry the weight of a divine partnership if your character is still fragile. That is why God takes time to mold you. He tests your patience, disciplines your emotions, and builds your spiritual strength. The introduction to your soulmate is sacred. It must not happen before you are capable of loving without fear, forgiving without pride, and giving without expectation. When your heart has been purified by faith and your mind has been renewed by truth, that is when God whispers to your spirit. Now, sometimes God will let you cross paths with the wrong people first. Not to punish you, but to teach you the value of discernment. Every heartbreak has purpose. Every closed door was divine protection. Every delay was a setup for something greater. When you meet your soulmate, you will finally understand why every other connection had to fail. It will all make sense. The silence, the waiting, the tears. You will see how God was using every disappointment to build the foundation of wisdom in you. Because when the right person enters, you will love with clarity, not with confusion. Your soulmate will recognize your spirit before they recognize your face. There will be a knowing, a peace that doesn't need explanation. You won't need to convince them of your worth or chase their attention. God doesn't build divine unions on insecurity. He builds them on purpose and alignment. The one meant for you will see your light and not feel threatened by it. They will celebrate your strength, not compete with it. They will protect your heart as if it were their own. And you will do the same, because your love will not be based on appearance or emotion. It will be rooted in divine understanding. When God introduces you to your soulmate, it is not a loud event. It is often quiet, subtle, sacred. It might happen during an ordinary day, in an ordinary place, but it will carry extraordinary peace. You will sense that God's hand is in it. There will be no confusion, because God is not the author of confusion. There will be no emotional turbulence, because love from God brings calmness. You will not need to ask, is this the one? Because your spirit will already know. The same peace that guided you through storms will confirm that you have found safe harbor. But here is the truth many overlook. Before God introduces you to your soulmate, He first introduces you to yourself. He reveals your purpose, your weaknesses, your patterns, and your wounds. He shows you the parts of you that need healing so that you don't project your pain onto your partner. Many people cry out for love while still carrying unhealed scars. But God, in His wisdom, delays the introduction until you have learned to love yourself through His eyes. Because only when you see yourself as worthy of divine love can you attract it without fear or insecurity. Do not despise your waiting season. Every moment of solitude is sacred training. It is during that time that God aligns your energy, matures your faith, and purifies your desires. When you stop searching out of fear and start trusting out of faith, that is when things begin to shift. God does not move through panic. He moves through peace. If you are restless, He will slow things down to protect you. But once your heart is still, once your spirit is anchored in trust, He will move swiftly. The right person will appear suddenly, but their arrival will feel eternal, as if you've known them forever. You may wonder, how will I know? It's from God. The answer is simple: when it's from God, it will not pull you away from Him. It will bring you closer. It will not confuse you, it will clarify you. It will not drain you, it will strengthen you. It will not require you to abandon your purpose. It will align with it. The one meant for you will walk beside you, not ahead of you or behind you. They will speak life into your vision, pray for your peace, and stand firm when challenges arise. Together, you will not just share affection. You will share a mission. Your soulmate is not just someone you love. They are someone you serve alongside. They are the person with whom your calling finds its echo. When God joins two people, it is never for pleasure alone. It is for purpose. You are both designed to magnify something divine together, to impact others, to strengthen faith, to build something that outlives you. That is why God is careful about who He allows into your life. He knows that love can either propel you or paralyze you. And He will never let a love that destroys your destiny take root in your soil. There will be times when you feel forgotten, but God never forgets. He is arranging things beyond what you can see. Your soulmate may be in another season of preparation, walking through their own refinement. God is shaping their heart even as He shapes yours. When the time is right, paths that once seemed separate will converge effortlessly. You won't need to manipulate, chase, or question. God's timing will be perfect. His plan will be clear. His peace will surround it all. Do not compare your journey to others. Some find their soulmate early, others later. But when God is the author of your story, the ending is always worth the wait. The world teaches impatience, God teaches purpose. The world says, find someone fast. God says, wait until the right one finds you. The world chases attraction, God creates alignment. You cannot hurry something that is sacred. If you try to build it before its time, it will crumble under pressure. But when God builds it, it will endure storms, distance, and time. Every time you feel lonely, remember that solitude is not absence. It is preparation. God is teaching you how to be content in His presence, so that when your soulmate arrives, they become a blessing, not a necessity. You must first be filled with divine love before you can share it. That is the mystery of divine connection. Two whole souls meeting, not to complete each other, but to serve together in harmony. When God finally brings that person, you will know, because everything will fall into place without striving. You will realize that your waiting was never wasted. God had been working all along, refining both hearts until they were ready to recognize one another. You will thank Him for every delay, every tear, every closed door. Because it all led you here, to this moment, where divine timing meets divine purpose. Now listen deeply. When God introduces you to your soulmate, protect that connection with prayer. Do not let pride, fear, or outside opinions interfere. Understand that every divine relationship will be tested, not to destroy it, but to strengthen it. Challenges will arise, but when God is the foundation, love will not break under pressure. It will grow stronger. The same God who brought you together will sustain you through every storm. And as you walk together, remember that your love is a reflection of God's love. Patient, enduring, selfless, and kind. You were never meant to chase love in fear. You were meant to receive love in faith. That is how God introduces you to your soulmate. Not through chaos, but through divine peace. Not through chance, but through purpose. Not through desperation, but through destiny. And when it happens, you will know, because your spirit will whisper, "This is what I was waiting for." And now, I want you to understand something deeper, something that few truly grasp. God does not just introduce you to your soulmate for companionship. He does it to fulfill divine purpose. There is a mission behind every sacred union, a reason that goes far beyond romance or emotion. When God unites two souls, He weaves together two destinies. What one lacks, the other carries. What one dreams, the other confirms. What one starts, the other strengthens. This is why God takes so much time preparing both hearts. Because divine love is not a fleeting feeling. It is an eternal partnership designed to advance His plan on earth. When God introduces you to your soulmate, your spirit will feel a divine recognition. It is not about physical attraction first. It is about spiritual confirmation. You will sense a connection that your mind cannot explain, but your heart cannot deny. It will feel as though you have known them beyond time, as if your souls always been intertwined. That is because God designed you with someone in mind, not as a missing piece, but as a divine mirror, someone who reflects back the parts of you that God refined. But let me tell you this, God will not send your soulmate while you are still entertaining counterfeits. He cannot reveal the true while you are distracted by the false. Many people cry that they cannot find the right one, but they are holding tightly to the wrong one. God cannot place something holy in a hand that still clings to what He has already asked you to release. Sometimes the introduction to your soulmate begins with separation. God will take away what was never meant to stay, and though it may hurt, that loss becomes divine preparation. Every goodbye spoken in faith becomes a doorway to a greater hello ordained by heaven. God is not a God of confusion. He is a God of clarity. When the right person enters, you will not have to beg for consistency or prove your worth. The right one will not leave you guessing, because God's order always brings peace. If you have to chase it, fight for attention, or constantly explain yourself, it is not from God. The one he sends will come with understanding, with effort, and with mutual respect. You will see reflection, not perfection, but direction. Together, you will walk in alignment toward a shared destiny, not competing, not controlling, but complementing each other with grace. And understand this powerful truth: before God introduces you to your soulmate, He tests your loyalty to Him. He watches how you love when there is no one to love you back. He observes how you stay faithful even when you feel forgotten. Because if you cannot love God in your loneliness, you will not know how to love your soulmate with purity. God trains your heart in the solitude of waiting, teaching you patience, discipline, and gratitude. So that when love comes, you will cherish it, not idolize it. You will serve it, not possess it. Because divine love is not about ownership. It is about stewardship. Your soulmate is not a fantasy God creates to make you comfortable. They are a reality He ordains to make you fruitful. You are meant to build together, to pray together, to grow together, and to carry divine responsibility together. Will not unite you for mere pleasure. He will unite you for purpose. This is why the one He chooses will not distract you from your calling. They will deepen it. You will inspire each other to rise higher, to stand stronger, and to walk closer with God. Your relationship will not revolve around insecurity, but around faith. It will not be built on fleeting emotion, but on spiritual conviction. And when the enemy tries to divide what God has joined, you will not crumble because your foundation is divine. When God is the center, storms cannot destroy you, they only refine you. You will face challenges, yes, but those challenges will become sacred fire that purifies your love. You will learn forgiveness, you will learn endurance, and through every trial, you will learn that divine love is not fragile, it is fortified by faith. When two souls anchored in God walk together, even their silence becomes prayer, and their unity becomes testimony. Do not rush this process. Many are so eager to be chosen that they forget to be prepared. You cannot demand a divine relationship while living with undisciplined emotions. You cannot pray for a godly connection while ignoring the character it requires. God does not give His treasures to the unready. He will test your patience to reveal your maturity. He will test your faith to reveal your trust. And when your soul learns to rest in Him without anxiety or complaint, He will move suddenly, introducing you to the one He crafted for you long before time began. The introduction may not happen in a grand way. It could be through a simple moment, a quiet meeting, or an unexpected encounter. But do not underestimate God's subtlety. He works in divine precision, not in noise. You may think it's coincidence, but later you will look back and see His fingerprints over every detail. God arranges the timing so perfectly that not even 1 second is wasted. He will ensure that both hearts are ready, spiritually, emotionally, and mentally, so that when they meet, the connection will not be rushed, it will be right. And here is another truth you must hold tightly. God does not pair you with someone based only on attraction or compatibility. He pairs you based on assignment. The right one will carry the strength you lack and need for your destiny. They will challenge your comfort zones, not to hurt you, but to grow you. but to grow you. They will not compete with your light. They will stand beside it, protecting it, nurturing it, and shining with it. This kind of connection is divine partnership. It is two souls walking with one purpose: to glorify God through their union. You see, divine introductions are sacred. They are not forced by dating apps, desperate prayers, or manipulation. They happen through alignment. God aligns seasons, aligns hearts, aligns paths. Sometimes what you call delay is God aligning your steps with someone else's preparation. He is preparing both of you for the divine moment when your eyes will meet and your souls will recognize each other. That recognition is not magic. It is divine memory. The memory of two spirits that were created to walk together, finally converging in God's perfect time. And I say this with authority: when it is from God, you will not have to fear losing it. You will not have to beg for love that was written by His hand. What He ordains, He sustains. What He promises, He protects. What He blesses, He multiplies. If you ever have to chase peace, it is not from God. Divine love does not run from you. It meets you halfway. It does not confuse you. It clarifies you. It does not drain you. It strengthens you. When God is in it, you will feel at rest even while waiting. Do not listen to the world that tells you love is luck or chance. Love is divine strategy. God knows the rhythm of your heart better than you do. He knows who will understand your silence, who will pray when you cannot, who will remind you of His promises when you forget. That is why He takes His time. He is not delaying. He is designing. Every delay is construction in progress. Every tear is watering the soil of your future joy. Every lonely night is shaping the strength you will one day need to protect what He gives you. When God introduces you to your soulmate, it will not be because you beg it. It will be because you became ready. The introduction is the reward for spiritual readiness. You cannot meet divine love while walking in doubt. You cannot receive divine connection while carrying bitterness. God must first remove the residue of your past. He must cleanse the wounds that caused you to love from pain instead of peace. Only then can He release what is sacred into your life. Because divine love is holy ground, and you must enter it barefoot, free from pride, ego, and fear. There will come a moment when everything aligns. The timing, the energy, the readiness, and suddenly there they will be. Not as a stranger, but as a missing melody your soul already knew. You will not need to ask God to confirm it 1,000 times. Your peace will be the confirmation. You will feel the same calm that comes when a prayer is answered. It will not shout for attention. It will speak quietly, and yet it will command your whole being to listen. And then you will understand why God made you wait. You will understand why it took so long, why every other door had to close. Because when you finally stand before what was meant for you, you will realize that nothing was lost. Every delay was protection. Every disappointment was redirection. Every lonely season was preparation. God had not forgotten you. He was aligning you. So, do not lose faith while waiting. Do not question God's timing. Your story is being written with divine precision. Every day you stay faithful, you move closer to that moment of introduction. Every act of obedience, every prayer, every tear, it all draws you nearer. God is not silent, He is strategic. He knows where your soulmate is right now, what they're learning, what they're letting go of, and how they're growing. Trust that while you are praying for them, they are also being shaped for you. And when that introduction happens, let love remain rooted in God. Do not let the beauty of the connection make you forget the one who created it. The same God who brought it together must remain the foundation that keeps it strong. Keep Him in the center of every conversation, every decision, every plan. For love that begins in God can only grow in His presence. Because when God introduces you to your soulmate, it is not merely the meeting of two people. It is the merging of two destinies, the uniting of two prayers, the fulfillment of two journeys that were always meant to meet at the altar of divine timing. And when that moment arrives, you will not just find love, you will find purpose, peace, and proof that God always keeps His promises. When God begins to align your life with your soulmate, He doesn't do it through chaos or confusion. He does it through order, through divine orchestration. God never introduces destiny in the noise. He introduces destiny in stillness. When your heart has learned to rest in Him, when you no longer chase validation or search for affection in every direction, that's when God begins to whisper, "No, you are ready." You see, a soulmate is not someone who completes your emptiness. It's someone who reflects your wholeness. God will never join two broken souls to make a whole. He joins two complete spirits who have both been refined by waiting, by surrender, and by faith. There comes a sacred point when God looks at your life and says, "You have passed the test of isolation. You have endured the season of silence. You have grown in obedience and learned to listen." And when that moment arrives, He moves swiftly. Suddenly, paths cross without explanation, timings align with perfection, and what once felt delayed begins to feel divinely on time. That is how God introduces you to your soulmate. Not through human manipulation or emotional desperation, but through divine timing and spiritual readiness. Many people ask, "Why hasn't God introduced me to my soulmate yet?" And the answer lies not in the absence of the person, but in the preparation of your spirit. God's greatest introductions come after the deepest purification. He will not allow you to meet the right person while carrying the wrong mindset. He will not unite you with destiny when you are still bound by the habits of your past. God prepares your heart before He presents your blessing. Sometimes the waiting is not a delay. It is divine protection. God is not withholding your soulmate from you. He is protecting your future from premature exposure. When God introduces you to your soulmate, it won't be through 1,000 words. It will be through peace. The connection will feel sacred, not impulsive. It will not come from lust, attraction, or convenience. It will come from divine confirmation. God will align your spirit with theirs, and your souls will recognize each other, not because of history, but because of divine destiny. There will be a knowing in your heart that this connection carries purpose. God does not waste divine unions on temporary emotions. He joins two souls that will serve a higher purpose together. Two people who will honor Him in unity, who will walk in purpose, and who will protect each other's peace. When God is about to introduce your soulmate, He often isolates you first. He removes the wrong people, closes unnecessary doors, and silences the noise that once distracted you. This isolation is not punishment, it's positioning. God is setting the stage for divine introduction. It is in solitude that you learn to discern His voice, to recognize His hand, and to understand His timing. When you stop begging for love and start building your spirit, that's when God begins to move. The introduction of your soulmate doesn't start with meeting them. It starts with meeting yourself, the version of you that God designed before the world wounded you. Sometimes God allows you to meet your soulmate in an unexpected place, at an unexpected time, through an unexpected situation. Because destiny doesn't follow human logic. You might think you're just passing through a season, but God is writing a story. Every step you take in obedience becomes a doorway to divine encounter. God does not introduce your soulmate when you are searching the loudest. He introduces them when you are walking in quiet faith. He will make sure that when you meet, it's not by coincidence, it's by divine confirmation. The very peace in your spirit will testify that this connection was written long before time began. And yet, before the introduction, there must be pruning. God will strip away every false attachment, every counterfeit connection, every emotional dependency that could blind you from recognizing what is real. Because if your heart is still holding on to something that God has already released, you won't have the space to receive the one He is sending. The process may hurt, but it's holy. The loneliness may sting, but it's sacred. Every ending orchestrated by God carries a divine beginning within it. When one person leaves and peace follows, that's not rejection, it's redirection. God is clearing the path so that the right person can find you without obstruction. When God introduces you to your soulmate, the encounter will be more spiritual than physical. It will feel like your souls have met before, like a conversation between spirits that have been waiting to unite for purpose. You'll sense divine alignment rather than emotional infatuation. And here's the truth. God will never send your soulmate to heal your wounds. He will send them to grow your purpose. They will not arrive to fill a void, but to expand your calling. God joins two lives that together can accomplish what neither could alone. The bond will carry peace, direction, and purpose, all anchored in God. Your soulmate is not someone you chase, it's someone you attract through your alignment with God. When your heart is anchored in faith, when your actions honor God, and your spirit is guided by His wisdom, you become magnetic to what is meant for you. Divine attraction is not about looks or status, it's about alignment. The same God who designed your destiny has also designed your soulmate to complement it. And when you finally step into obedience and purpose, your paths converge without effort. God orchestrates divine meetings where human effort would have failed. So if you're still waiting, don't rush. Because in the waiting, God is writing. He is scripting a story more beautiful than anything you could imagine. He is preparing your heart to love selflessly, to recognize purity, to appreciate commitment. You will not have to question if it's from God. You will know because it will carry peace, purpose, and presence. The peace will confirm it. The purpose will sustain it. The presence of God will protect it. When it's divine, it doesn't demand, it flows. It doesn't drain, it fills. It doesn't confuse, it clarifies. Before God introduces your soulmate, He first introduces you to your worth. Because if you don't know your value, you will mishandle what He sends. Many lose divine connections, not because they weren't meant to be, but because they weren't ready to receive them. God will train your heart to love with patience, not possession, to serve with humility, not pride, to protect, not control. The soulmate God sends is not a replacement for Him. It's a reflection of His wisdom, an instrument through which His love is experienced in human form. But make no mistake, God must remain the center. Because if you ever elevate a human above the Creator, the relationship will crumble under misplaced worship. When God introduces you to your soulmate, you'll realize why every other connection didn't work. You'll see the divine wisdom in every heartbreak, every delay, every closed door. You'll understand that God was not ignoring your prayers. He was perfecting your timing. The moment you meet the one God has chosen, you will thank Him for every moment of waiting. Because you will see that He was not late. He was aligning. The introduction will not feel rushed or chaotic. It will feel destined, ordained, inevitable. That is the beauty of divine timing. When God moves, everything aligns. Your emotions, your peace, your purpose. You won't have to manipulate the connection. It will flow naturally because it was designed in heaven long before it manifested on earth. God's hand will be evident. The peace will be undeniable. And the union will be unstoppable, because what God joins together, no human force can tear apart. When God finally introduces you to your soulmate, it will not be just the meeting of two hearts. It will be the collision of two destinies. It will be a divine moment when heaven whispers, "Now the time has come." You will stand in awe, realizing that every season of waiting, every prayer whispered through tears, every lonely night that tested your faith, all of it was necessary. God was never silent, He was sculpting you. God was never delaying, He was preparing you. You will see that His timing was not just perfect, it was protective. And in that moment, you will understand something profound. Your soulmate was never the goal. God was. It was in seeking Him that you found yourself. And it was in finding yourself that He could finally reveal the one who was written for you. Love, in its truest and purest form, is not discovered. It is revealed by God. When two souls are aligned with His purpose, love becomes more than emotion. It becomes a spiritual covenant, an instrument through which God's light is multiplied on earth. So if you are still in the waiting season, hold your head high and keep your spirit steadfast. Do not lower your standards to meet human timelines. Do not chase what is not sent by God. Let your faith become your filter and your peace become your confirmation. The one that God sends will not confuse your heart or disturb your spirit. They will draw you closer to purpose. When God writes your story, you will not have to edit it with fear or force. It will flow in divine order. Let this truth take root in your soul. What is meant for you will recognize you. The one designed for you will not compete with your peace. They will complement it. The person God sends will not come to complete you. They will come to continue what God has already begun in you. Until then, walk with discipline, pray with conviction, build your purpose. Because God does not introduce you to your soulmate when you are searching. He does it when you are becoming. And when that day comes, when God aligns your path with theirs, do not boast, do not fear, do not doubt. Simply thank Him. Thank Him for every delay that protected your destiny. Thank Him for every ending that led to this beginning. Thank Him for teaching you that true love is not something you find outside. It is something God awakens within. So stand firm in faith. Guard your heart with wisdom. Let your character become your prayer. Trust the God who orchestrates the stars to also orchestrate your love story. For when He moves, no human hand can hinder. And when He introduces your soulmate, it will be in such a way that every fragment of your past will make sense. Therefore, wait not with worry, but with worship. Live not in fear, but in faith. Speak not with doubt, but with declaration. Tell your soul to rest, because what God has written for you cannot miss you. Let your heart echo this truth every day. In God's time, in God's way, through God's wisdom. What is mine will find me. And when it does, may you recognize that it was never just about meeting another person. It was always about meeting the divine plan that God had written for your life from the very beginning. Now, go and live in faith. Prepare your spirit. Strengthen your purpose and trust with unwavering conviction that God is already arranging your introduction. Because what He ordains, no force on earth can undo. There are women who walk among us unseen by the world, but known deeply by God. They do not chase attention, yet heaven watches over every step they take. These are the chosen women, set apart, refined through fire, hidden in divine timing, and protected by the unseen hand of God. They are not ordinary, for their spirit carries the marks of destiny. When such a woman enters a room, the atmosphere shifts, not because of her beauty, not because of her words, but because the presence of God rests upon her. You can recognize them not by their appearance, but by the spiritual marks that only God can place upon a life. Every chosen woman carries a story that was never easy. She has cried tears the world will never see. She has fought silent battles that no one will ever know. She has walked through deserts with no map and faced nights where only her prayers kept her alive. And yet, through every trial, she never let go of God. That is her first mark, divine endurance. A chosen woman doesn't crumble under pressure, she transforms through it. The fire that was meant to destroy her only purifies her spirit. While others complain, she prays. While others give up, she rises. She knows that God never abandons those who are chosen. He refines them to reflect His strength. The second mark of a chosen woman is sacred silence. She does not need to prove her worth or announce her greatness. She lets God speak for her. In a world that worships noise, she chooses peace. When others gossip, she prays. When others shout, she listens. Her silence is not weakness, it is wisdom. God trains her in the quiet because destiny cannot grow in chaos. She has learned that peace is power, and that the most dangerous woman is the one who knows how to remain calm while everything around her is shaking. Her silence confuses her enemies because they cannot understand how she remains unbothered while storms rage around her. But she knows God is her defender, and no one can fight better for her than the one who sees all things. The third mark is divine discernment. A chosen woman sees beyond faces. She sees hearts. She does not fall for flattery because her spirit recognizes truth. God has sharpened her vision to discern motives, to recognize deception, and to protect her peace from false connections. She is not easily fooled because she has spent time in the presence of God where clarity flows like a river. This discernment is not arrogance, it is protection. God gives it to her because her assignment requires it. She must walk carefully, for her influence is sacred. She carries something powerful within her, and the enemy knows it. That is why she must discern not only who enters her life, but also who must leave it. She understands that not everyone is meant to walk with her. And she releases people with grace, trusting that God removes what no longer serves her purpose. The fourth mark of a chosen woman is resilience through rejection. She has known what it feels like to be misunderstood, overlooked, and even betrayed by those she trusted. But instead of breaking, she bends and grows stronger. God uses rejection as her redirection. Every time someone turned away, God turned her closer to Him. Every no became a lesson, every loss became fuel, and every heartbreak became a door to a deeper level of faith. She doesn't chase after those who leave. She blesses them and moves forward. For she knows that God never allows anything to be taken from her unless He intends to replace it with something greater. Her resilience is not learned from comfort, but from pain. And that pain has become her teacher, shaping her into a woman of unshakable faith. The fifth mark of a chosen woman is spiritual authority. She may look humble, but her prayers move mountains. She doesn't need a stage or a spotlight. Her power is in her faith. When she speaks, the atmosphere listens. When she prays, chains break. When she intercedes, heaven responds. God has entrusted her with spiritual influence because she proved faithful in obscurity. She has learned how to fight battles on her knees, and she has won victories that the world will never see. Her strength is not physical, it is spiritual. And the power that flows from her life comes not from pride, but from purity. Because she has kept her heart clean, God amplifies her voice. She is a warrior in disguise, gentle in presence, yet fierce in spirit. Her power doesn't come from who she is, but from who stands behind her. The sixth mark of a chosen woman is humility and victory. When God blesses her, she doesn't boast. When doors open, she gives thanks. She knows that every success, every opportunity, every blessing is not her doing. It is God's mercy. Her humility is what keeps her elevated. She doesn't forget the night she prayed when no one was watching. She remembers the pain that taught her gratitude, the loss that taught her compassion, the rejection that taught her grace. Because of this, God continues to lift her higher, not for her glory, but for His purpose. She understands that true power is not found in recognition, but in surrender. Her greatest achievement is not how far she's come, but how faithfully she has walked with God. And the seventh mark, the rarest of all, is divine favor. This mark cannot be earned or explained. It is a supernatural covering that follows her wherever she goes. Doors open for her that others cannot unlock. People bless her without knowing why. Opportunities find her even when she's not searching. This is the mark of divine endorsement. God places His hand upon her life in such a way that everything connected to her begins to flourish. It's not luck, it's divine order. Because she has kept her heart pure and her motives aligned with God's will, He blesses her openly. Even those who doubted her are forced to admit that something about her is different. She carries the fragrance of favor, the evidence of divine presence. A chosen woman is not loud, but she is powerful. She is not flawless, but she is faithful. She doesn't chase the world because she knows that her value comes from God alone. Her worth is not determined by her past. It is defined by her purpose. Every trial she has faced has prepared her for the season she is entering now. She has been through the fire, but she came out refined. She has walked through loss, but she still carries peace. She has been broken, but not destroyed, because God was with her, and that alone made her unshakable. The world may not understand her because her story was never written for the world's approval. It was written for God's glory. She walks differently because she listens to a higher voice. She moves when God says move and stays still when He says wait. Her timing is not dictated by pressure or comparison. It is governed by divine instruction. While others rush, she rests. While others panic, she prays. She knows that waiting is not wasting. It is preparation. God does not make her wait to punish her. He makes her wait to perfect her. And when her time comes, she will shine effortlessly because she was never chasing light. She was becoming it. There's a stillness that surrounds a chosen woman, the kind of peace that cannot be imitated. She doesn't need validation to know she is valuable. She doesn't need approval to feel anointed. Her confidence flows from a place of divine assurance. She knows that God's hand upon her is her greatest protection. The same God who allowed her pain will turn it into purpose. The same tears she cried will water the seeds of her destiny. Her story may have begun with suffering, but it will end in glory. For what begins with tears always ends with triumph when God is the author. Every chosen woman has scars, but her scars are not signs of weakness. They are proof of her survival. They tell the world, I've been through battles and still believe. She doesn't hide her wounds because she understands that they carry wisdom. God never wastes pain. He transforms it into purpose. That's why chosen women carry an unexplainable glow. It's not beauty, it's resilience. It's not charm. It's grace. It's not luck. It's the evidence of God's faithfulness. You can see it in her eyes, hear it in her words, feel it in her energy. She has walked with God long enough to know that even her silence speaks victory. And perhaps the most powerful truth about a chosen woman is this: she was chosen before anyone believed in her, even before she believed in herself. God saw her before the world did. He marked her with destiny before she ever took her first breath. Her story was sealed in heaven long before she faced her first battle on earth. That is why she cannot be defeated. That is why her enemies cannot destroy her. She is not sustained by human strength. She is sustained by divine purpose. So if you are listening to this and you feel unseen, misunderstood, or forgotten, let this truth settle into your spirit. God has not overlooked you. The marks you carry are not random. They are proof that you are being prepared. The trials you are facing are not signs of abandonment. They are evidence of selection. The pain that once broke you is the same pain that will position you. Every chosen woman must walk through fire, but she does not burn. She must endure storms, but she does not sink. Because when God chooses you, He equips you, He strengthens you, and He stands with you through it all. You may not see it now, but every closed door was protection. Every disappointment was redirection, and every delay was divine timing. You are not behind. You are being built. God is crafting your story, refining your heart, and preparing to reveal what He has placed within you. And when He does, the world will see what heaven has always known, that you were chosen, marked, and destined for something greater than you can imagine. The chosen woman is not defined by what the world sees, but by what God whispers to her spirit. She may not wear a crown of gold, but she wears a crown of grace. The world might call her ordinary, but heaven calls her appointed. Every step she takes is guided by divine precision. Every delay in her life is not denial, it is preparation. There is a rhythm to her journey, a sacred timing that cannot be rushed or altered, because the hand of God is writing her story line by line, season by season. And though others may move faster, she moves deeper. For her life is not measured by speed, but by purpose. She has learned that what comes quickly often fades quickly. But what God builds through patience lasts forever. When God chooses a woman, He does not choose her for comfort. He chooses her for calling. He places within her a burden, a vision, a fire that will not let her rest until she fulfills her divine assignment. That is why she cannot live like everyone else. She cannot lower her standards or follow the crowd. There is something sacred about her steps. She is walking a path that few understand. The chosen woman carries weight. Not the weight of the world, but the weight of divine purpose. Her spirit carries an anointing that attracts both blessings and battles. People may envy her favor, but they do not see the fire that forged it. For every ounce of grace she carries, there was a season of pain she had to survive. There are moments when the chosen woman feels weary, when her faith is tested to the edge, and her tears fall without sound. Yet even in her exhaustion, she never stops believing. She knows that the same God who called her will sustain her. Even when her hands are trembling, she lifts them in prayer. Even when her voice is weak, she speaks faith into her atmosphere, because she understands that her strength does not come from her own power. It comes from the presence of God within her. The chosen woman does not collapse under pressure, because she knows the one who holds her never sleeps. She keeps going, not because it's easy, but because quitting is not in her spirit. What sets the chosen woman apart is her unwavering obedience. When God tells her to move, she moves. When he tells her to wait, she waits. Her obedience is not selective, it is complete. Even when she doesn't understand, she trusts. Even when it costs her comfort, she says yes, because she has learned that obedience unlocks blessings that talent, beauty, or influence never could. She knows that the favor of God does not flow where there is rebellion. It flows where there is surrender. And though her obedience may lead her through wilderness seasons, she never doubts that the promised land is waiting on the other side. The chosen woman knows that faith is not about seeing. It's about walking blind and trusting that God will catch every step. There is also a divine magnetism around the chosen woman. She doesn't have to chase people, opportunities, or recognition. When she aligns her heart with God's will, what is meant for her begins to find her. Her life becomes a testimony of divine attraction. She doesn't manipulate outcomes. She manifests purpose through faith. When God marks a woman, He also commands the universe to cooperate with her destiny. Situations that once resisted her suddenly begin to yield. What once was impossible becomes effortless because divine favor shifts everything in her favor. She is not lucky. She is led. She is not striving. She is aligned. The chosen woman also carries an inner strength that is invisible yet undeniable. This strength does not come from pride, but from pain that has been transformed into power. She has been through battles that would have broken others, yet she stands with quiet dignity, clothed in peace. Her resilience confuses those who expected her to fall. But they do not realize that she has walked with God in the dark. She has found her power in prayer, her courage in faith, her healing in surrender. There is a fire in her eyes that no storm can extinguish, because she has learned that the same God who allowed the fire also walks with her in it. A chosen woman's heart beats with purpose. She does not live by emotion. She lives by conviction. Her love is not weak, it is wise. Her compassion does not make her naive, it makes her divine. She knows how to forgive without forgetting the lesson. She knows how to let go without losing her peace. She does not need revenge because she knows that God defends her better than she ever could. Her power is her calm, her weapon is her wisdom, and her victory is her peace. When people wrong her, she blesses them. When they betray her, she prays for them. Not because she is weak, but because she refuses to let bitterness poison her purpose. She knows that holding grudges is too expensive for a woman who carries divine calling. Every chosen woman walks through a moment when she must choose between comfort and calling. And in that moment, she chooses God. She lets go of what is familiar to embrace what is divine. She surrenders her plan so that God's plan can unfold. She understands that elevation requires separation and destiny demands discipline. When others are celebrating distractions, she is cultivating devotion. When others seek validation, she seeks revelation. She lives differently because she was chosen differently. Her life is a message that says, God is enough. When God chooses a woman, He hides her before He reveals her. He keeps her unseen, uncelebrated, sometimes even misunderstood. Not because He is punishing her, but because He is protecting her. Hidden seasons are holy seasons. They are the places where God strengthens her foundation so that when her time comes, she will not collapse under the weight of her calling. Many mistake delay for denial, but the chosen woman knows better. She knows that hiddenness is proof of preparation. Every quiet season is a training ground for greatness. God never reveals what He has not refined. There is a serenity in the chosen woman that cannot be shaken by chaos. Her peace is her signature. She walks through storms as if she hears a voice that others cannot hear. She is calm because she knows that God's plan is greater than her fear. The same God who led her into the valley will also lead her out of it. She doesn't need to understand every detail to trust the direction. She knows that faith is not built in comfort, it's built in uncertainty. Her peace is her power because it tells the world, I may not see what's ahead, but I trust the one who does. A chosen woman is also deeply generous. She gives love, kindness, and wisdom freely because she knows everything she has comes from God. Her giving spirit is what keeps her blessed. She knows that when she pours into others, God refills her. She doesn't give for recognition. She gives out of revelation. She knows that life multiplies what you give, not what you keep. So she gives hope where there is despair, light where there is darkness, and compassion where there is pain. She is a reflection of divine abundance, not because she has everything, but because she trusts that God is her source of everything. There are also moments when the chosen woman must stand alone. People may misunderstand her faith, question her choices, or mock her silence. Yet she stands firm, unshaken by opinions, because she knows that the approval of people is temporary, but the approval of God is eternal. She does not need applause to know her worth. She does not crave validation because her spirit has already been validated by the one who created her. Even when she feels unseen, she reminds herself, God sees me. That assurance gives her strength when she walks alone. The chosen woman carries a rare combination of gentleness and power. She can heal and correct, nurture and lead, love and let go, all with grace. She doesn't fight with noise, she wins through presence. Her calm is louder than arguments, her kindness stronger than revenge. She embodies strength wrapped in softness. And through her, God shows that power and humility can coexist, that strength and tenderness can walk hand in hand. What makes the chosen woman unstoppable is not her ability to avoid pain, but her ability to rise after it. She doesn't deny her wounds, but she refuses to let them define her. Her story is a series of comebacks written by God's mercy. Every time she thought it was over, God whispered, I am not done. And because she listens to that voice, she keeps going, glowing and growing. Her resilience is not human, it's divine. When the chosen woman finally steps into her season, everything about her shines differently. Not because she has changed who she is, but because she has become who she was always meant to be. The waiting, the tears, the trials, all of it was the making of her. Now she moves with quiet authority, knowing that everything she lost was part of what she needed to gain. God's timing has elevated her, and His favor has surrounded her. When God marks a woman as chosen, He rewrites her identity in the unseen. She stops living for the eyes of people and begins living for the gaze of God. There comes a moment when she realizes that her worth is not defined by her beauty, her status, or her achievements, but by her alignment with divine will. Her heart becomes sacred ground, a place where faith breathes and destiny unfolds. The chosen woman is not loud about her greatness. She is quiet about her purpose. She moves in silence because she understands that divine power does not need public validation. It only needs private obedience. The chosen woman does not chase what is temporary. She waits for what is eternal. She understands that every relationship, every opportunity, every door that closes is guided by divine precision. If something leaves her life, she doesn't break, she bows. Because she knows that if God removes it, it was not meant to stay. The chosen woman has learned to release with grace, to surrender without fear, and to trust that every ending is a setup for divine redirection. She does not panic when life shifts, because she knows that when she walks with God, even loss becomes a lesson, and every delay becomes divine protection. The chosen woman carries an atmosphere. When she enters a place, peace follows. When she speaks, wisdom flows. When she prays, the heavens listen. Her presence changes environments, not because of who she is, but because of who she walks with. Her life becomes a vessel of divine influence, and those who encounter her can sense that she carries something different, something sacred. This is what it means to be chosen, to be so full of divine presence that your silence speaks louder than your words, your actions preach louder than your voice, and your faith shakes what fear cannot. She does not compete, she completes. She does not envy, she evolves. She does not fight for recognition, she lives for revelation. Her heart is too anchored in divine purpose to be swayed by worldly opinions. She knows that comparison is the enemy of calling, and so she stays focused on her lane, her mission, her timing. When others rush, she rests. When others chase, she prays. When others panic, she praises. Because she knows that everything connected to her destiny will arrive exactly when God sends it. A chosen woman is not afraid of solitude because she has learned that divine instruction is born in silence. The world calls it loneliness, but she calls it intimacy. Those who are chosen must often walk alone, not as punishment, but as preparation. For in solitude, God molds her character, refines her discernment, and strengthens her spirit. It is in the stillness that she learns to hear the subtle whispers of divine direction. She discovers that not every voice deserves her attention, and not every door is meant to be opened. God isolates her not to harm her, but to elevate her. There is a purity in the chosen woman's heart that draws divine favor. She forgives even when it hurts. She blesses even when betrayed. She prays for those who try to harm her because she knows that harboring bitterness only blocks blessings. Her love is not conditional, it is spiritual. She understands that forgiveness is not weakness, it is wisdom. For by forgiving, she keeps her spirit light, her path clear, and her connection with God unbroken. The chosen woman is too focused on her divine future to stay chained to past pain. When God chooses a woman, He gives her a spirit of discernment. She begins to see beyond appearances, beyond words, beyond flattery. Her eyes are trained by faith to recognize truth from deception. She can sense when something is from God and when it is a distraction dressed as destiny. This discernment becomes her shield. It protects her from wrong people, wrong paths, and wrong opportunities. It allows her to move with clarity while others move with confusion. The chosen woman does not react. She discerns. She does not rush. She waits until God confirms. She also carries the mark of divine endurance. No matter how many times life tests her, she does not crumble. She recalibrates. When others give up, she grows. Every trial becomes a testimony. Every wound becomes wisdom. She does not resent her pain because she knows it is the furnace that forges her faith. God allows her to be tested not to destroy her, but to reveal the depth of her strength. Every tear she sheds is a seed that God will one day turn into joy. The chosen woman has learned that her scars are not signs of defeat. They are symbols of divine survival. The chosen woman also has a sacred stillness in her spirit. She does not live in fear of the unknown because she has surrendered her future to the one who controls it. She knows that no storm can cancel what God has written, and no delay can destroy what God has destined. Her peace is her proof that she trusts divine timing. Even when everything seems uncertain, her heart remains anchored in faith. She has learned that faith is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to keep walking while afraid, knowing that God is leading her step by step. She carries humility as her greatest ornament. Though she is chosen, she never boasts. Though she is favored, she never forgets who sustains her. She gives all glory to God because she knows that without Him, she is nothing. Her humility attracts blessings, for God lifts those who bow before Him. She does not need to announce her greatness because her life itself becomes the announcement. Her humility is what keeps her favor flowing, her wisdom growing, and her influence expanding. And yet, the chosen woman is also bold. Her faith is not timid. It is tenacious. She speaks truth without fear, stands firm without apology, and believes without doubt. When life challenges her, she does not shrink, she declares. When the enemy tries to silence her, she prays louder. Her courage is not arrogance, it is conviction. She knows that if God is with her, no opposition can stand against her. Her confidence is not in herself, but in the divine hand that guides her. There is a light that surrounds the chosen woman, a glow that cannot be hidden. It is not physical, it is spiritual. It is the radiance of peace, purity, and divine presence. Wherever she goes, she becomes a carrier of hope, a reflection of divine love, a vessel of transformation. People may not understand what makes her different, but they can feel it. She walks in grace, speaks with purpose, and lives with intention. She is not here to impress the world. She is here to impact it. The chosen woman knows that the world may misjudge her. Some may envy her silence, others may question her peace, but she does not respond to noise. Her focus is fixed on the higher call. She knows that divine purpose cannot be explained to those who are not called to understand it. So she stays quiet, trusting that time will reveal what words cannot. Her patience becomes her defense. Her consistency becomes her proof. She does not fight to be understood. She lets God do the explaining. Her journey is not without suffering, but even her suffering has purpose. God does not waste her pain. Every heartbreak, every disappointment, every betrayal has prepared her to walk in deeper wisdom and strength. What others meant for harm, God turns into healing. What was taken from her, He replaces with something greater. She understands that divine favor is not about a life free of hardship. It is about a heart that remains faithful through hardship, and that is the mark of a woman chosen by God. She endures without losing her essence. She believes without needing evidence, and she loves without limits. The chosen woman carries destiny in her eyes and eternity in her heart. She is not living for applause, she is living for purpose. Her every breath is a prayer, her every step a declaration that God's will is enough. She has become a living testimony that no one can destroy what God has designed, and no circumstance can rewrite what heaven has decreed. When God chooses a woman, He does not choose her because of her perfection. He chooses her because of her willingness. He does not look for those who have everything figured out. He looks for those who are ready to surrender everything to Him. If you are hearing these words and something inside your heart begins to awaken, know this: it may be because you are one of those chosen women. You have felt misunderstood, overlooked, and sometimes forgotten, but in truth, you were being hidden for divine protection. You were not being delayed, you were being prepared. God was shaping your character, refining your patience, and deepening your faith for something far greater than you could ever imagine. The chosen woman is not defined by her past. She is defined by her purpose. What others called rejection, God called redirection. What they said was failure, God was using as foundation. You are not behind. You are right where you are meant to be. Every moment of pain, every season of silence, every tear that fell when no one saw, it all has meaning. God wastes nothing. He uses everything to build you into the woman He designed you to become. You are the result of divine craftsmanship, sculpted in stillness, refined through storms, and now rising into your appointed season. So I challenge you today, stop doubting your calling. Stop apologizing for your strength. Stop questioning why you feel different. You are not ordinary. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to stand out for the glory of God. Chosen women carry a responsibility to walk with grace, to speak with wisdom, and to live with unwavering faith. The world needs your light. The world needs your strength. The world needs the example of a woman whose confidence is not in herself, but in the power of God working through her. If you feel weary, rise again. If you have fallen, get back up. If you have lost your way, turn your heart once more toward God. He has not forgotten you. He has been waiting for you. Every delay in your life has been divine strategy. Every closed door has been divine mercy. And every waiting season has been divine protection. The chosen woman does not live in fear of what she has lost. She lives in expectation of what God will restore. So walk with your head high, not in pride, but in purpose. Speak not with arrogance, but with assurance. Carry yourself as a woman who knows that she belongs to God, that her value is eternal, and that her destiny is divinely sealed. Let your presence be a testimony that faith is stronger than fear, that purity is more powerful than popularity, And that obedience opens doors that talent never can. You were not chosen to impress the world. You were chosen to impact it. You were not chosen to chase validation. You were chosen to reveal divine truth. The mark of a chosen woman is not what she wears or what she owns. It is the light she carries when she walks through darkness. And the world will know who she is, not by her words, but by the divine peace that surrounds her life. So let your spirit rise. Let your faith ignite. Let your heart become a vessel of divine purpose. Wherever you go, carry the mark of one who has been chosen by God, not to boast, but to bless, not to be seen, but to serve, not to shine for yourself, but to reflect the glory of the one who sent you. Because when a woman chosen by God finally understands who she is, she becomes unstoppable. Her steps are guided, her words carry power, and her life becomes living proof that no force on earth can stand against the will of God. And when she walks, the very ground beneath her feels it, because the presence of God moves with her. So walk boldly, chosen woman, live fearlessly, pray faithfully, and never forget, your calling was written long before the world knew your name. What God has marked, no one can erase. What God has planned, no one can block. And what God has started in you, He will finish in divine perfection. You are chosen. Live like it.